Hi guys, and welcome again to the Gaming News Roundup. As always, my name is Amata and I'm going to give you all the latest in gaming as of the 27th of July 2012. First up, I have some interesting news on the free-to-play front. Crytek, as some of you may know, has a free-to-play FPS in Russia at the moment, but it looks like it's going to be released in Europe, US, Australia and New Zealand, which should be very, very cool. Supposedly it already has more than 2 million registered users in Russia, which is pretty impressive, and it's going to be co-published by Crytek and the online games firm Trion Worlds, and there's going to be a couple of platforms for the game, so there's not just going to be one place to get it. And supposedly this title is going to provide people with a constantly updated PvE universe featuring a load of multiplayer co-op missions and class-based PvP action, which sounds pretty damn good if I'm completely honest. The CEO, one of the CEOs responsible for publishing the game, said Crytek has repeatedly proven their foresight that they're doing again by leading the shift towards delivering high-quality, free-to-play online games. We are very impressed with Warface and Crytek's commitment to polished gameplay, amazing graphics, technical excellence, and real innovation. We very much feel that we are kindred companies and stand strong together. It got a little bit cheesy right there at the end, but still, this game does actually sound pretty cool. There's no exact date on this particular piece of news as of yet, unfortunately. I would very much like to have a little go on this myself. It sounds pretty interesting. I'm not usually one for FPS, but I'd be willing to at least try it out, I think. So, yeah, hopefully we get some concrete information as to when this is coming out very soon. Crytek, they don't usually let anyone down, so I'm sure this is going to be very good, and the 2 million users they've got says something already, so I'm sure this is going to be very interesting indeed. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Slender by now. Many people have covered it on YouTube, and I myself have done a video of it right here on the channel if you haven't already seen it. But it looks like a new Slender game is on its way. The game will be called Slender Source and will apparently be a new take on the Slender mythos and will supposedly feature multiplayer elements. And it's supposedly going to be a full release by February or March 2013, so not really all that long when you think about it. And they have already recognised that adding multiplayer elements might reduce the horror element somewhat, which is something that immediately came to my mind when I read this particular article. Now they said, I'm going to quote directly here, "We've seen some people explain that they think the addition of multiplayer may take away from the horror experience that was well known with the Slender game on Unity, since you won't be alone but with friends. We currently have the game set at 4-player limits, but we're discussing lowering it to 2 players. This is still up for discussion and we'll constantly be thinking about how we're going to work around this." So, to be honest, even having someone else there with you, I think, is going to lessen it quite a bit, so I'm not really sure how I feel about them adding multiplayer into it. I hope that if they do go that route, and it sounds like they very much are, they add the option to play by yourself if you want it, because a huge part of what made Slender scary is that you're completely alone in these woods with this being following you. You can't even really properly call it a man, and there was literally no escape. You just kind of were in these woods trapped with this guy until you eventually went mad. But hopefully they'll find some interesting ways around that. I'm sure these guys know what they're doing, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do with it. And I suppose there's going to be a new feature added as well that will basically mean the player has to collect disturbing porcelain dolls, and that they say that the collecting of these dolls will add to the gameplay instead of just hunkering down at multiple locations and waiting for the Slender Man to appear, and also obviously encourage players to explore, find hiding spots and give them better chances at avoiding Slender Man, of course. And also they've added staying in the same spot or splitting off from the group will lower your chances of survival down to almost nothing. And as well, as interesting, they've are planning to add another game mode which they're keeping very, very secret until then. So this sounds interesting. I'm still a little bit concerned about this whole multiplayer thing, but Maybe the addition of being by yourself will make you very, very vulnerable, may make it more interesting, I don't know. And maybe the other game mode will have some interesting stuff for us. Either way, I'll definitely be having a look when this one comes out. Slender, the original one, was very, very good indeed, and completely terrified me, to be honest. I would definitely recommend having a look at my video of it if you're up for a laugh. But yeah, I'll be really curious to see some news and all that good stuff, so I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. And finally, we have a new block type for Minecraft. And while that might not sound particularly like, oh my god, amazing or anything at first look, this new block is actually very, very cool sounding indeed. The new block is apparently aimed at adventure worlds. Admins are the only ones who can place them, and they can put scripts into the block. A basic example of this would be it to hand out 500 points for accomplishing a certain task. So obviously that sounds very, very simple on the surface, but I would remind you not to underestimate the Minecraft community. They've come up with some really creative stuff just using redstone. I think I saw the Voxerbox guys make a working whack-a-mole using redstone in Minecraft, so I will not be surprised if the community comes up with some pretty insane uses for what is a simple block. I'll be interested to see what mods and adventure maps come about from this. I imagine the Zelda style adventure maps in particular will have a use for this, as obviously you can give them XP to maybe sort of level up or something like that, or just give them some sort of reward for getting something, you know, just those adventure craft style ones will probably use this even better than the normal adventure maps or mods or what have you. So it'll be interesting to see what the community comes up with for this. I'm sure there's some guys out there who are already planning some insane map that they can make with this. Anyway guys, that's me done for this particular video. Thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget that, you know, we do have a website over at redgamingtech.com, so please do go check that out if you're feeling generous, and I'll see you again soon.
He's fine now.